The station was busy the next morning. Rila had never seen so many security guards in one place. They stood at every corner, every doorway, every lift. Their weapons were visible. Their eyes watched everything. Rila walked to class with her friend Myra. Myra was taller than Rila and had golden fur. She was scared of everything, but especially scared today. "I heard the human ship is huge," Myra whispered. "Bigger than anything in the Federation fleet." Rila nodded. She had not slept well. She kept thinking about the video instructor Varric had shown them. The human that never stopped chasing. The human that walked until its prey died of exhaustion. "We should stay in our rooms," Myra said. "What if the human gets angry? What if she attacks someone?" "She is an ambassador," Rila said. "She is here for peace. That is what they want us to think." They reached the classroom, but instructor Varric was not there. Instead, there was a note on the door. Classes were canceled for the day. All students were told to stay in the common areas or their quarters. Rila felt her heart beat faster. The human was already here. "Let us go back," Myra said, pulling Rila's arm. But Rila did not want to go back. She wanted to see. Just one look. Just to know if humans were really as scary as everyone said. "You go," Rila told Myra. "I will come later." Myra's eyes went wide. "Rila, no." Instructor Varric said to stay away. "I will not talk to her. I will just watch from far away." Before Myra could argue more, Rila ran off. She knew the station well. She had lived here her whole life. Her mother worked in the medical center. Her father worked in the docks. She knew every corridor, every hidden corner, every place where a small cub could hide and watch. She made her way toward the main hall. This was where important visitors were welcomed. The doors were tall and decorated with symbols from every species in the Federation. Rila hid behind a large plant near the entrance. From here, she could see without being seen. The hall was full of important people. Station Commander Velos was there. He was a large creature with blue scales and a booming voice. The Federation representative was there too. She was a thin being with long fingers and gray skin. And there were guards. So many guards. Then the doors opened. Rla held her breath. A small group of humans walked in. There were 4 of them. 3 wore uniforms with symbols Rila did not recognize. But the one in front wore different clothes. Simple clothes. A dark jacket and pants. Her hair was black and cut short. Her skin was light brown. Her eyes were dark and calm. This was Ambassador Sunwoo. Rila watched as Sunwoo walked toward Commander Velos. The humans moved differently than other species. Their steps were smooth and confident. They did not look around nervously like prey animals. They looked straight ahead, like they owned every room they entered. Sunwoo stopped in front of the commander. She smiled. It was a small smile, soft and warm. Then she did something strange. She bent her body forward slightly. Rila had read about this. It was called a bow. It was a sign of respect on Earth. "Commander Velos," Sunwoo said. Her voice was clear and gentle. "Thank you for welcoming us to your station. It is an honor to be here." Rila blinked. The human's voice did not sound dangerous. It sounded kind. Almost musical. Commander Velos looked uncomfortable. He was not used to being treated with such politeness by predators. "Ambassador Sunwoo," he said stiffly. "Welcome to Station Vila. We hope your visit will be peaceful." "I am sure it will be," Sunwoo replied. She looked around the hall. Her eyes moved slowly, taking in every detail. For a moment, Rila thought the human looked directly at her hiding spot. But then Sunwoo looked away. The group began to walk toward the meeting rooms. Rila followed from a distance, staying in the shadows. She knew she was breaking the rules, but she could not stop herself. The human was nothing like she expected. They passed through a long corridor. A cleaning drone was working on the floor. It was a small machine, round and quiet. Most people ignored these drones. They were just machines, after all. But Sunwoo stopped. She stepped to the side to let the drone pass. Then she looked down at it and said, "Excuse me. Could you please show me where the main meeting hall is?" Rila almost fell out of her hiding spot. The human was talking to a drone, a machine, and she had said please. The drone stopped. Its small lights blinked. It was not programmed for conversation. It made a confused beeping sound. Sunwoo laughed softly. "I am sorry. You probably do not speak. That is okay. Thank you anyway." She turned to one of her assistants. "Gina, do you have the map?" A young human female stepped forward. She had long hair tied back and a kind face. "Yes, Ambassador. The meeting hall is this way. Thank you, Gina." Rila could not believe what she was seeing. The human thanked everyone. She said please and excuse me. She treated a cleaning drone with more respect than most station workers treated each other. This was the dangerous predator? This was the creature that chased its prey until they died? Rila followed them all the way to the meeting hall. She hid behind a pillar and watched as Sunwoo entered the room. Before the doors closed, Sunwoo turned and spoke to a guard standing outside. "You have been standing for hours," she said. "That must be tiring. Please make sure to take a break when you can." The guard looked shocked. His mouth opened but no words came out. He had probably never been spoken to like that by anyone, let alone a human ambassador. The doors closed. Rila sat behind the pillar, her mind spinning. Everything she had learned about. Humans told her they were killers, hunters, monsters. But this human said please and thank you. She noticed a tired guard. She spoke kindly to a machine. How could both things be true? Rila took out her tablet. She opened a new file and began to write. Observation Day 1. She typed. Human Ambassador Sunwoo arrived at Station Vila. She bowed to Commander Velos. She thanked a cleaning drone. She told a guard to rest. She smiled at everyone she met. Rila paused. Her small claws hovered over the screen. "I do not understand," she typed. "Predators do not act this way. Predators take what they want. They do not ask. They do not thank. They do not care about machines or guards or anyone but themselves." She saved the file and closed the tablet. She knew she needed to tell someone about this. But who would believe her? Instructor Vorik had spent the entire lesson teaching them that humans were dangerous. The whole Federation believed it. But Rila had seen something different. She had seen kindness in the eyes of a predator. And she needed to understand why she decided to keep watching. Tomorrow she would find another hiding spot. She would observe more. She would take notes. And maybe, just maybe, she would figure out the truth about humans. As she walked back to her quarters, Rila passed by the corridor with the cleaning drone. It was still working on the same spot, moving in slow circles. Rila stopped and looked at it. "Hello," she said softly. The drone beeped. "A human talked to you today," Rila said. She said please. "Did you understand her?" The drone did not answer. It just kept cleaning. Rila smiled to herself. It was a small smile, just like the one she had seen on Sunwoo's face. Then she walked away, already planning tomorrow's observations. The classroom was cold. It was always cold on Station Vila, but today the air felt heavier. 32 cubs sat in their seats. Their fur stood on end. Their big round eyes looked at the screen on the wall. Instructor Vorik stood at the front of the room. His forearms were folded behind his back. His face showed no emotion, but his voice was serious. "Today," Vorik said, "we study the most dangerous species in the known galaxy. The cubs looked at each other. Some of them whispered. A small cub named Rila sat in the front row. She was smaller than the others. Her fur was gray with white spots. She held her tablet close to her chest and waited. Varric pressed a button. The screen showed a blue and green planet. It was beautiful. Oceans covered most of it. White clouds floated above the land. This is Earth, Varric said. Home of the humans. The cubs went quiet. Everyone in the Federation knew about humans. Parents told stories about them. Older students warned the younger ones. Humans were the monsters that lived at the edge of the galaxy. They were the reason some species never left their home planets. Humans are what we call persistence predators, Varric continued. He changed the image on the screen. Now it showed a creature running across a dry land. It had 2 legs, 2 arms, and no fur except on its head. Its body was covered in water. Sweat, the file said. They do not run fast, Varric explained. They are not strong like the Torek. They have no claws like the Venji. They cannot fly. They cannot see in the dark. They have soft skin and weak bones. Rila raised her small paw. Then why are they dangerous, instructor? Varric looked at her. His eyes were dark and deep. Because they never stop. He played a video. It showed a human chasing an animal across a hot desert. The animal was fast. It ran far ahead. But the human kept walking. Hours passed. The animal got tired. It stopped to rest. The human kept coming. The animal ran again. It got slower. The human walked. Eventually, the animal fell down. It could not move anymore. The human caught up to it and stood over it. The classroom was silent. Humans do not need to be fast, Varric said. They only need to be patient. They will follow you for days. They will follow you until your legs break. Until your heart stops. They do not give up. Ever. Rila felt her first stand up even more. She wrote in her tablet, Humans, persistence hunters. Never stop. Varric showed more images. He showed humans with weapons. Sticks at first, then sharp stones, then metal, then machines, then ships that could cross the stars. In less than 10,000 years, Varric said, humans went from throwing rocks to building starships. They learned faster than any species we have recorded. They adapted. They changed. They conquered their entire planet. A cub in the back raised his paw. His name was Torek. He was bigger than the others and often asked hard questions. Did they fight each other? Varric nodded slowly. Yes, humans are the only species that fought wars against themselves and survived. They killed millions of their own kind. And still, they grew stronger. The cubs looked sick. Rila felt her stomach twist. How could a species survive such violence? How could they still exist? The Federation made first contact with humans 73 years ago, Varric continued. A survey ship found one of their probes floating in deep space. The probe carried music, pictures, and a message of peace. Peace? Rila asked. She could not stop herself. They wanted peace? Varric's face did not change. That is what the message said. The Federation Council did not believe it. They sent a small fleet to observe Earth from a distance. What they saw changed everything. He showed another video. This one was from a Federation spy drone. It showed a human city. Buildings reached into the sky. Vehicles moved on the ground and in the air. Millions of humans lived together in one place. They built this without help, Varric said. They created art, music, science, medicine. They solved problems that took other species thousands of years to understand. They did all of this while fighting each other. Rila stared at the screen. The humans in the video looked so normal. They walked on 2 legs. They talked to each other. Some of them smiled. Some of them carried their young in their arms. They did not look like monsters. The council decided not to make open contact, Vorik explained. They were afraid. What would happen if humans turned their attention to the stars? What if they decided the Federation was an enemy? Torek spoke again. But they are part of the Federation now. I saw a human ship at the station last week. Vorik nodded. Yes, 30 years ago, humans discovered they were being watched. They sent a message to the Federation. They asked to join. The Council had no choice. Refusing might have started a war. So they agreed. Are humans dangerous to us? Rila asked. Her voice was small but clear. Vorik looked at her for a long moment. The official answer is no. Humans have signed all peace treaties. They follow Federation law. They have not attacked any member species. And the real answer? Rila pressed. Vorik walked to the window. Outside, stars filled the black sky. Somewhere out there was Earth. Somewhere out there were billions of humans. The real answer, he said slowly, is that we do not know. Humans are friendly now. They trade with us. They share technology. They smile and shake hands and say nice words. But we have seen what they can do when they decide someone is an enemy. He turned back to the class. Tomorrow, a human ambassador will visit this station. She is coming to speak to the senior students. You will stay away from her. You will not speak to her. You will not approach her. Is that understood? The cubs all nodded quickly. Rila nodded too, but inside her chest, something strange was happening. She was scared, yes, but she was also curious. She wanted to see a human with her own eyes. She wanted to know if the stories were true. As the class ended and the cubs filed out of the room, Rila stayed behind. She looked at the frozen image on the screen. It showed a human female. She had dark hair and kind eyes. Her name was listed below the picture. Ambassador Sunwoo. Rila whispered the name to herself. Sunwoo. She did not know it yet, but that name would change everything she believed about predators and prey. 3 days passed. Rila watched the human ambassador every chance she got. She hid in corners, behind plants, under tables in the dining hall. She filled her tablet with notes. 37 pages of observations. And every page confused her more. On the second day, Rila saw Sunwoo in the food court. The ambassador was eating alone at a small table. A server brought her a glass of water. Sunwoo looked up at the server. She smiled and said, "Thank you very much. I appreciate it." The server, a young male with spotted fur, almost dropped his tray. No one ever thanked servers. They just took their food and left. But the human acted like the server had done something important. On the third day, Rila watched from behind a pillar as Sunwoo walked through the main corridor. An older alien was struggling to carry a heavy box. Sunwoo stopped, handed her bag to her assistant Gina, and walked over to the old one. "May I help you with that?" Sunwoo asked. The old alien looked terrified. A human was approaching him. A predator. He started shaking, but Sunwoo kept her voice soft. "Please do not be afraid. I just want to help carry your box. It looks heavy." Slowly, the old alien nodded. Sunwoo took one side of the box. Together, they carried it to the storage area. When they arrived, Sunwoo put the box down gently. "There you go," she said. "Please be careful with heavy things. Take care of yourself." She walked away before the old alien could respond. He stood there, frozen, staring at her back. Rila wrote in her tablet, "Human helped old alien." Did not ask for payment. Did not expect reward. Just helped. By the fourth day, Rila could not keep her secret anymore. She needed answers. She needed to talk to someone who understood predators. She needed Instructor Vorik. She found him in his office. It was a small room filled with screens and books. Star maps covered the walls. Vorik sat at his desk, reading a report. He looked up when Rila knocked on the open door. "Rila," he said. His voice was not angry, but it was not welcoming either. "What are you doing here? Students are not supposed to visit faculty offices without permission." "I know, instructor. I am sorry." Rila stepped inside, clutching her tablet. "But I need to show you something. It is about the human." Vorik's forearms tensed. "I told you to stay away from the ambassador." "I know, but I did not talk to her. I only watched." Rila placed her tablet on his desk. "Please, instructor, look at my observations. I do not understand what I am seeing." Vorik stared at her for a long moment. Then he picked up the tablet and began to read. His face did not change at first, but as he scrolled through the pages, something shifted in his eyes. Confusion, maybe, or concern. "You saw all of this?" he asked. Riley nodded. "Every word, every action. I wrote down everything." Vorik set the tablet down. He was quiet for a long time. Finally, he spoke. "What do you want to know?" "I want to know why," Rila said. "Predators do not act this way. You taught us that. Predators take what they need. They dominate. They show strength. But this human says please and thank you. She helps strangers. She thanks machines. She treats everyone like they matter." Vorik leaned back in his chair. His dark eyes looked tired. "I do not have an answer for you, Rila. But you are the instructor. You know everything about predators. I know what the databases tell me. I know what the Federation has recorded. But humans..." He paused. "Humans are different. They do not follow the patterns we expect." Rila sat down in a chair across from him. Her legs felt weak. "So the lessons were wrong? Humans are not dangerous?" "I did not say that." Vorik's voice was sharp now. "Humans are absolutely dangerous. They are persistence hunters. They invented nuclear weapons and nearly destroyed their own planet. They have fought countless wars. They can be violent, cruel, and relentless." "But Ambassador Sunwoo is kind," Rila said. "Yes, and that is what confuses me too." Vorik stood up and walked to the window. Outside, ships moved through the darkness of space. Somewhere out there was Earth. Somewhere out there were 8 billion humans, each one a mystery. "There is a theory," Vorik said slowly. "It is not accepted by the Federation Council. They do not like it because it makes humans more dangerous, not less." "What theory?" Vorik turned to face her. "Some scientists believe that humans use kindness as a weapon." Rila blinked. "A weapon? How can kindness be a weapon?" "Think about it," Vorik said. He began to pace. "When a predator attacks, you know how to respond. You run, you hide, you fight back. The threat is clear. But what do you do when a predator is kind to you?" Rila thought about this. You do not know what to do." "Exactly. Kindness from a predator creates confusion. It lowers your guard. You start to trust them. You stop seeing them as a threat. And then..." Vorik stopped pacing. "Then they have you." Rila felt cold. "So Ambassador Sunwoo is pretending? Her kindness is not real?" "I do not know," Vorik admitted. "That is the problem. We cannot tell. Humans are masters of social behavior. They can lie with their words and their faces. They can make you believe anything." Rila looked at her tablet. All those observations. The smiles, the thank yous, the gentle words. Were they all fake? Was the human tricking everyone? But something did not feel right. Rila had watched Sunwoo very closely. She had seen the ambassador when no one else was looking. And in those moments, Sunwoo still acted the same way. She still smiled at cleaning drones. She still thanked servers. She still helps strangers. What if it is real? Rila asked quietly. Vorik looked at her. What do you mean? What if humans are kind because they want to be? What if their politeness is not a trick? What if they actually care? Vorik was silent for a long time. When he finally spoke, his voice was different. Softer, almost sad. If that is true, he said, then everything we know about predators is wrong. And that is more frightening than any weapon. Rila did not understand. Why would kindness be frightening? Because it means humans have evolved beyond their nature. They have taken the instincts of a killer and transformed them into something else. Something we have never seen before. Vorik sat down heavily. A predator that chooses to be gentle is more unpredictable than one that attacks. We cannot model their behavior. We cannot predict what they will do. And that makes them the most dangerous species in the galaxy. Rila picked up her tablet. Her hands were shaking. What should I do, instructor? Vorik looked at her for a long moment. Then he did something surprising. He smiled. It was small and tired, but it was real. Keep watching, he said. Keep taking notes. You have done good work, Rila. Better than any scientist in the Federation. Maybe you will find the answer that none of us can see. Rila nodded. She walked to the door, then stopped. Instructor? Yes? Thank you for talking to me. Vorik's smile grew a little wider. You are welcome. And Rila? Be careful. Humans are observant. If the ambassador has not noticed you watching her, she will soon. Rila's fur stood on end. She had not thought about that. Sunwoo was a predator. Predators notice things. But as she walked back to her room, Rila made a decision. She did not want to hide anymore. She wanted to talk to the human. She wanted to ask questions. She wanted to know the truth. Tomorrow, she would stop hiding. Tomorrow, she would let the predators see her. Rila did not sleep that night. She lay in her small bed and stared at the ceiling. Her mind was full of questions. Her heart was full of fear and hope, mixed together like water and oil. Morning came slowly. Rila got dressed and walked to the common area where students ate breakfast. Mira was there, sitting alone at a table. She waved when she saw Rila. You look tired, Myra said. Did you stay up watching those human videos again? Rila shook her head. I was thinking. About what? About what makes something dangerous. Mira did not understand, but she did not ask more questions. That was one of the things Rila liked about her friend. Myra knew when to stay quiet. After breakfast, Rila walked toward the observation deck. It was a large room with windows that looked out into space. Sometimes the ambassador came here in the mornings. Rila had noted it in her observations. Some will like to watch the stars while drinking something called coffee. Today was no different. Rila found the ambassador sitting alone by the largest window. Her assistant Gina stood nearby, reading something on a tablet. Two guards waited by the door, their weapons ready. Rila did not hide this time. She walked straight toward the window and sat down on a bench a few feet away from the human. Her heart was beating so fast she thought it might burst. For a long moment, nothing happened. Sunwoo continued to look out the window, holding her cup of coffee. Gina continued to read. The guards watched Rila but did not move. Then Sunwoo spoke without turning around. You have been following me for 4 days. Rila froze. Her whole body went cold. Sunwoo finally turned to look at her. Her eyes were dark and calm. There was no anger in them, no threat, just curiosity. You are very good at hiding, Sunwoo said. Better than most adults. But I noticed you on the second day, behind the plant in the dining hall. Rila wanted to run. Every instinct told her to flee, but her legs would not move. Sunwoo smiled. It was a gentle smile. The same one she gave to servers and cleaning drones. "Do not be afraid," she said. "I am not going to hurt you. I do not hurt children." Rila found her voice. It came out small and shaky. "How did you know I was there?" "Humans have good pattern recognition," Sunwoo explained. "We notice when something is different. And you were always in the same places. Always watching." "I was trying to understand you," Rila admitted. "Instructor Vorik taught us that humans are dangerous. That you are predators. But you do not act like a predator." Sunwoo's smile faded slightly. Not with anger, but with something like sadness. "Your instructor is right. Humans can be very dangerous. We have done terrible things in our history. Then why are you kind?" The question hung in the air between them. Gina stopped reading and looked up. The guards shifted slightly. Everyone was listening. Sunwoo set down her coffee cup. She turned her body fully toward Rila, giving the small cub her complete attention. "May I tell you a story?" she asked. Rila nodded. "A long time ago, on Earth, humans lived in small groups. We were not the strongest animals. We were not the fastest. We had no claws, no thick fur, no sharp teeth. Other creatures hunted us. We were prey." Rila's eyes went wide. "Humans were prey?" "Yes, but we had one advantage. We could work together. We could share food, share shelter, share protection. A single human was weak, but a group of humans was strong." Sunwoo leaned forward slightly. Her voice was soft but clear. "To survive, we had to trust each other. We had to communicate. We had to care about each other's feelings. If someone was hurt, we helped them. If someone was hungry, we shared food. This was not kindness for the sake of kindness. It was survival." Rila thought about this. "So being kind made you stronger?" "Exactly. Over time, kindness became part of who we are. We developed words like please and thank you. We learned to show respect, to show gratitude, to show care. These things built trust. And trust built communities. And communities built civilizations." She picked up her coffee cup again and took a small sip. "But here's the important part," Sunwoo continued. "We did not lose our predator instincts. They are still there, inside every human. We can be violent. We can be aggressive. We can chase our enemies until they collapse from exhaustion. Those old hunters still live in our blood." Rila shivered. "Then how do you control it?" "We choose." Sunwoo's voice was firm now. "Every day, every moment, we choose what kind of being we want to be. We can choose violence or we can choose kindness. Both options are always there. The choice is what makes us human." Rila was quiet for a long time. She looked at the human's hands. They were small compared to other species. No claws, no scales. Soft skin that could be easily cut. But those hands had built starships. Those hands had created weapons that could destroy planets. And those same hands could also reach out to help a stranger carry a heavy box. "Why do you say please and thank you to everyone?" Rila asked. "Even the machines that cannot understand you." Sunwoo laughed softly. It was a warm sound. "Because it is good practice. If I only show kindness to beings I think are important, then my kindness is not real. It is just strategy. But if I treat everyone with respect, even machines, even strangers, even those who cannot give me anything in return, then kindness becomes part of who I am. So it is a habit? More than a habit. It is a way of being. When you practice kindness enough, it stops being something you do. It becomes something you are." Gina walked over and stood beside the ambassador. She smiled at Rila. "The first time I met Ambassador Sunwoo, I was just an intern. Nobody important. But she treated me like I mattered. She remembered my name. She asked about my family. That is why I work for her now. Sun Wu nodded. Gina is right. Kindness creates connection, and connection creates loyalty. A leader who treats people well will have followers who would do anything for them. A leader who treats people badly will be alone when trouble comes. Rila felt something shift inside her. All the lessons she had learned, all the warnings about predators, they were not wrong. But they were not complete. Humans were dangerous, yes. But their most dangerous weapon was not violence, it was kindness. Kindness that made people trust them. Kindness that turned enemies into friends. Kindness that built alliances stronger than any army. Thank you for explaining, Rila said. She meant it deeply. Sun Wu smiled again. You are welcome. And thank you for being brave enough to ask. Most people run away from what they do not understand. You chose to learn instead. That takes courage. Rila felt her fur warm with pride. No adult had ever told her she was brave before. Sun Wu glanced at the clock on the wall. I have a meeting soon, but I have one more question for you. What is it? What are you going to do with what you learned today? Rila thought about this. She thought about her classmates, all scared in their rooms. She thought about Instructor Vorik, confused by a predator who said please. She thought about the whole Federation, afraid of beings they did not understand. I am going to tell others, Rila said. I am going to share what I learned. Sun Wu stood up. She was not very tall for a human, but she seemed to fill the whole room with her presence. Good, she said. That is how change happens. One small voice at a time. She nodded to Rila, then walked toward the door. Gina followed behind her. The guards stepped aside at the door. Sun Wu stopped and looked back. Rila? Yes? It was nice meeting you. Take care of yourself. And then she was gone. Rila sat alone by the window, looking out at the stars. Somewhere out there was Earth, a planet full of predators who said please and thank you. Predators who chose kindness every day. Predators who might be the most dangerous species in the galaxy, not because they could kill, but because they could make you love them. Rila took out her tablet and began to write. The ambassador left Station Velar 3 days later. Her ship was large and silver, with smooth lines that cut through space like a blade. Half the station watched it leave from the observation decks. They were relieved. The predator was gone, but Rila was not relieved. She felt something else. Something like lost in the days that followed. She worked on her report. She spent hours in her room, typing and deleting and typing again. She wanted to get it right. She needed to explain what she had learned in words that others could understand. The report grew longer and longer. 40 pages. Then 50. Then 60. Rila wrote about everything. The lessons from Instructor Vorik, her observations, her conversation with the ambassador. She wrote about fear and kindness and the strange space between them. When she was finally done, she printed a copy and walked to Instructor Vorik's office. Her legs felt heavy. Her heart was nervous. She had never written anything this important before. Vorik was at his desk, reading reports as always. He looked up when she knocked. Rila, come in. She walked in and placed a stack of papers on his desk. I finished my report on humans. Vorik looked at the thick pile. His forearms reached for it slowly. 67 pages. This is more than most scientists write in a year. I had a lot to say. I can see that. Vorik picked up the first page and began to read. Rila sat down in the chair across from him and waited. Time passed. Vorik read without speaking. His face showed nothing at first. But as he moved through the pages, his expression began to change. His eyes grew wider. His breathing grew slower. Several times he stopped and read the same section twice. When he finished the last page, he set the report down gently. Then he sat back in his chair and was silent for a very long time. "Rila," he said finally. His voice was different now, softer, almost respectful. "This is the most important document I have read in my entire career." Rila felt her first stand on end. "Really? You have done what the Federation's greatest scientists could not do. You have explained why humans are truly dangerous." He tapped the report with one of his claws. "And it has nothing to do with their persistence hunting or their weapons. They conquered through kindness," Rila said. "That is my conclusion." Vorik nodded slowly. "Kindness creates trust. Trust creates alliance. Alliance creates power. And power, built on kindness, is almost impossible to break." He stood up and walked to his window. The stars outside were the same as always, cold and distant. But somehow they looked different now. "I spent 30 years teaching students that humans were monsters," Vorik said. "I showed them videos of predators chasing prey. I told them about wars and weapons and nuclear fire. I made them afraid." "You were trying to protect them," Rila said. "Yes, but I was also wrong." He turned to face her. "Fear teaches you to run. Fear teaches you to hide. But fear does not teach you to understand. And without understanding, we will never be safe." Rila thought about her classmates. They were still afraid. They still whispered about humans in the corridors. They still believed the old stories. "What should we do?" she asked. Morag walked back to his desk and picked up her report. "First, I am going to send this to the Federation Council. They need to read it. They need to understand what you have discovered. Will they listen? Some will. Some will not. Change takes time. But every great change starts with one voice speaking the truth." He looked at her with something like pride in his eyes. "Your voice, Rila." She felt warmth spread through her chest. She had never felt important before. She was just a small cub with gray fur and white spots. But maybe small voices could be loud enough to change things. "There is something else," Vorik said. "The Academy has a program for advanced students. Students who show special talent for research. I'm going to recommend you for it." Rila's eyes went wide. "Me?" "You. You have shown more scientific thinking than cubs twice your age. You asked questions when others ran away. You observed, you analyzed, you drew conclusions. That is what science is. That is what the Federation needs." Rila did not know what to say. She just nodded, her throat too tight for words. Vorik smiled. It was a rare sight. "Go home, Rila. Get some rest. You have earned it." She stood up and walked to the door. Then she stopped and turned back. "Instructor Vorik?" "Yes, thank you. For believing me. For listening." Vorik's smile grew a little wider. "You are welcome. And Rila? I'm glad you did not stay away from the human like I told you to. Sometimes breaking the rules is the right thing to do." Rila smiled back. Then she walked out of the office and down the long corridor toward her room. That night, she added one more page to her report. A summary. A final conclusion. She typed slowly, choosing each word with care. "Final report on human behavior," she wrote at the top. "Humans are apex predators. They are persistence hunters. They have terrifying endurance. They can build weapons that destroy worlds. They can wage wars that last generations. They are everything the Federation fears, but humans have one trait that no other predator has developed. They have learned to choose. Every moment, they choose what to be. They can choose violence, or they can choose kindness. They can choose to fight, or they can choose to help. Ambassador Sunwoo chose kindness. She said please and thank you to everyone she met. She helped strangers. She thanked machines. She treated the lowest worker with the same respect as the highest leader, and in doing so, She conquered Station Veeler without firing a single shot. She conquered it with words, with smiles, with small acts of respect that cost nothing but meant everything. This is what makes humans the most dangerous species in the galaxy. Not their weapons, not their persistence, but their ability to make you trust them, to make you like them, to make you want to be near them. A predator that attacks can be fought. A predator that threatens can be avoided. But a predator that says please and thank you. A predator that remembers your name and asks how you are doing. That is a predator you will follow anywhere. My recommendation to the Federation Council: do not fear humans. Do not hide from them. Learn from them instead. Learn their secret. Learn why kindness is stronger than violence. Learn why a smile can conquer more than an army. And maybe, if we learn well enough, we can become more like them. Not predators who attack, but predators who choose. Predators who protect. Predators who build instead of destroy. That is the future I want to see. Final note: when interacting with humans, remember these two things above all else. Say please. Say thank you. It might just save your life. Rila saved the file and closed her tablet. Outside her window, the stars burned cold and bright. Somewhere out there, a silver ship was carrying Ambassador Sunwoo back to Earth, back to a planet full of predators who said please. Rila smiled to herself. She understood now. She understood everything. And somewhere across the galaxy, in an office she had never seen, Instructor Vorik was reading her final page. His four hands trembled slightly. His dark eyes were wet. He finally understood too. Humans had not conquered the stars with weapons. They had conquered them with two simple words: please and thank you. And that was the most terrifying thing of all.